Should you or I buy Tesla stock right now? Well, first off, you're probably watching this because Tesla stock a month ago was at like 450, and on Tuesday, the 4th, it was around 900 almost, which is almost double. And then today, it has gone down by about 17%, around $160 or so, into the 730s. So that's a huge drop, but keep in mind that it's plummeting 100 and something, and it had gone up by 200 and something in the last couple of days. With the stock where it is, Tesla is currently valued higher than GM and Ford combined. And are they producing as many cars as them? No, by no means, but the stock market is looking at the future, and they see a bright future for Tesla overall. So it's down a bunch. You should buy a bunch right now, right? Because it's going to soar again? Well, I'm not going to give you a strict yes or no answer, but what I will do is lay out everything that financial experts are saying about the topic. But first, why has it been increasing so much? Well, the first is that Model 3 deliveries are ramping up continually, and the demand is basically increasing there. And then the Cybertruck was announced, and a lot of people had mixed feelings about it, and they broke the window at the event, but it had a ton of pre-orders. Then the Model Y, which is entering into the very popular crossover market, is ahead of schedule. It's going to deliver in Q1 as opposed to Q4. Tesla's Chinese factory got up and running within a year and started delivering cars, and then they also officially announced the plans for their Berlin factory. And that specifically is going to make it way easier for them to provide cars for the European market. Then overall, electric cars are just getting more and more popular, and we're seeing a lot of other companies entering the market and trying to make electric cars to compete with Tesla. On top of this, certain countries and states are making regulations that are making it required to have electric cars in the future. And then Tesla was profitable for the last 2 quarters in a row. And then we have analysts with positive ratings on Tesla, and their biggest bull is ARK Invest. So ARK Invest is an investment manager that is focused on disruptive innovation, and they give Tesla a rating of $7,000. That's what they expect them to be worth in the future. So essentially what they're saying is that if you buy a share today in the 730s, in 2024, they expect that to be worth $7,000. And you can see if you bought multiple shares how much that would add up. And then they have their bear and bull cases. So a bear case is essentially when someone thinks the stock's going to go down, and a bull case is when someone thinks it's going to go up. ARK Invest's bear case says that in 2024 there's a 25% likelihood that they'll be worth $1,500. And then their bear case says there's a 25% likelihood that they'll be worth $15,000 in 2024. So if you trust ARK Invest, either way, if you buy Tesla, you're going to have an increase from 2 to 20 times by the year 2024. So they're pretty much Tesla's biggest bull right now. But then you have other investors like Ron Barron, who says that Tesla could reach $1 trillion in revenue in the next 10 years. And he said that Tesla, quote, could be one of the largest companies in the whole world. And then you have Jim Cramer, the host of Mad Money, who was previously very anti-Tesla, who now says he expects Tesla to be worth 2 times as much as GM and Ford are worth. Then Wedbush put their bull case on Tesla at $1,000, and Adam Jonas has a super bull case on Tesla as well. So there are many bull cases and buy ratings on Tesla, and if you want to look up all the rest of those, they're all over the internet. But at the same time, there's of course bear cases as well, and sell ratings, and all sorts of people who think you should sell Tesla, and we'll get to that in a second. Another reason that Tesla could be soaring over the last couple months is that people are actually seeing that Tesla is ahead of the game. When you have Porsche coming out with their new electric vehicle, and its range hardly competes with Tesla, and then you have Mercedes delaying their electric car because of battery shortages, and all sorts of other difficulties that manufacturers are seeing, people are starting to see that there's actually something to Tesla saying this is difficult. Previously, people thought Tesla would kind of survive until legacy automakers finally decided to make electric cars, and then they would just wipe them out. But now those automakers are kind of seeing that it's no walk in the park to make an electric vehicle, especially one that competes with Tesla, who's been doing it for a few years. And then on top of this, you have Gigafactory Shanghai, which Tesla built and got operational within a year, and now they're able to deliver electric cars made in China to China, which is the biggest electric vehicle market right now. Down the line, people are expecting this to be hugely valuable for Tesla. And then Tesla has plans for their Gigafactory Berlin to hopefully be built and up and running by 2021. And that will allow them to service the European market and not have to ship cars made in California over to Europe to serve it, which is how they're doing it right now. Then Tesla's Model Y is ahead of schedule. It's already supposed to be a popular car. They had originally said Q4 and now it's Q1, so it's ahead of schedule, which is good for people's confidence in Tesla because previously people thought that they were always late because they kind of were always late. And now this is the first time they're actually ahead on a product launch. And people are excited about that and seeing that hopefully in the future, they can make all of the timelines they set out. On top of this, the UK just actually banned petrol, diesel, and hybrid vehicles by 2035. So in 15 years, you're not going to be able to get a car like that in the UK. It's going to be electric or some other sustainable vehicle, but most likely electric vehicles are going to win out. And with Tesla increasing their presence in Europe with the Berlin factory, this could be something they can definitely capitalize on. And then, of course, as I mentioned, Tesla posted a profit for Q4 of 2019. So these are some of the reasons it's been surging overall, but why is it surging so much over the past week? Tesla didn't announce a new product, they didn't release anything, they didn't deliver something, they didn't announce any new earnings. Why has it been surging so much? The biggest reason is probably due to a short squeeze. So if you don't know what short selling is, it's basically I borrow a share of Tesla from someone, then I resell it, and I hope that it's going to plummet, and then I can buy it back and keep the profits and return it to the original owner of the stock. So tons of people are betting on Tesla's stock plummeting, but it's basically just kept going up. But when it goes up, that means you're eventually going to have to return that stock and buy it back at millions of dollars of loss. And there's so many people that have lost millions of dollars shorting Tesla. So there have been a lot of short sellers that are finally throwing in the towel and decided they're not going to short Tesla anymore, and they're covering their positions quickly. Despite what they think about the company, Tesla continues to grow, and at a certain point, you got to give up because you're just going to keep losing so much money. So Josh Brown of Whitholtz Wealth Management said, quote, "I think what's happened with Tesla recently represents the greatest short squeeze of all time." So that's the biggest reason why the stock has grown such ridiculous numbers over the past few days. And I don't expect that to continue by any means, but I do expect them to grow overall in the long term. So why did it drop today? The biggest reason is because of the coronavirus. Now, this is something that Tesla announced at the Q4 earnings call, that their factory might be affected because it's going to have to be shut down. And it's continued to be shut down, and they're actually not going to be able to make the deliveries they had originally scheduled. The quote from Tesla's vice president said, quote, "The proposed delivery in early February will be delayed. We will catch up the production line once the outbreak situation gets better." Definitely not the best timing for Tesla's Chinese factory when it's just starting to make deliveries and then it has to be shut down. But keep in mind, the coronavirus is affecting people. There's 24,000 plus people who have been infected, and 500 people and counting have died from the virus. So keep in mind, this is a personal thing. It's not just affecting business, this is affecting people. But in any case, that's the main reason why it's plummeted today. The stock was increasing partially because of that factory getting online, and now it's on hold. Also, the short squeezing, which was putting more demand on Tesla's stock and driving the price up, has probably subsided, and so it's getting back to a fairly normal price for Tesla. So should you buy Tesla right now? I'm not entirely sure. I might consider buying it at the current price because it's dropped a little bit and I don't want to miss the boat, but at the same time, I'm planning to hold it long term. So if I buy it today and it drops $200, but in 6 months it goes up beyond that, where I originally bought it, then I feel good about it. If you're in it for the short term and you're looking to buy today and then hopefully tomorrow it goes up by $200, I wouldn't expect that to continue for much longer. But who knows, maybe I'm completely wrong and tomorrow the stock goes up by $400 and I miss the boat. Obviously, I'm very pro Tesla, and to hear everything about their latest product, you can click the link up here to see my video or in the description below. But as always, it's important to acknowledge the other arguments against Tesla as well. The biggest arguments that I hear about Tesla is that their CEO Elon Musk is unpredictable, that other car manufacturers are going to catch up, and that the tax incentives from the government have stopped, and that Tesla has never truly turned a yearly profit. So yeah, Elon Musk is unpredictable, and last year he was in a lawsuit for calling someone a pedo guy on Twitter, and definitely not a great look for the CEO of a big company that you're betting on. Other manufacturers haven't caught up to Tesla yet, but people think that they still will within the next couple years, and then they're a legacy automaker with so many more resources. At that point, it'll be easy to kill Tesla. And then the federal tax incentive for electric cars has run out for Tesla. So right now, if you go out and order a Mustang Mach-E, you're going to get $7,500 as a tax credit on your taxes from the federal government. Versus if you go out and buy the Model Y, which is similarly priced and spec'd, you're going to get no tax credit from the federal government. And eventually these tax credits will run out for all electric car makers, like for the Mustang Mach-E. In the next few years, it's eventually going to run out. but people think that that's enough time for those car makers to catch up to Tesla. And this is definitely a good point because $7,500 back on people's taxes is a pretty big incentive to want to buy one car versus another. But overall, so far, this hasn't affected Tesla's sales, and a lot of people think that it's not actually going to affect it in the long run because people want a Tesla specifically. These are all very valid arguments, but with the pace of technology advancement, I don't really think people are going to catch up to Tesla. If it was just Ford trying to beat Tesla on build quality, then obviously that would happen. But since there's so much software building involved, and these are car manufacturers, not tech companies, I think Tesla is going to remain ahead and these companies are not going to be able to catch up. And then you have bear cases like Brian Johnson saying he expects Tesla to be worth $200 a share, and Citigroup putting a $200 price target on Tesla and giving it a sell rating, among many other bear cases which are all saying you should sell it right now because it's just going to go down. But I see Tesla like Apple, and this is a very frequent comparison. So if you look at Apple stock today, they're at about $320. But if you go look at Apple's stock in January of 2009, their stock was at $12.62. So that was about 2.5 years after the original iPhone was released. Today, where we are right now, the Model 3 has been out for 2.5 years, and Tesla is around the 730s. So where can we expect them to grow in 11 years? At the time, the iPhone was way more expensive than any other phone on the market, and now pretty much everyone has an iPhone, and the price has gone up by a lot to buy an iPhone. Originally, it was around $500, now it's around $1,000. But Apple is now the most valuable company in the world. The Model 3 is much more expensive than the average car right now, but how can we expect this to change in the future? It's really much more than just an electric version of a car. It's completely different, and people are starting to realize this. Tesla is ahead of the game on batteries, and they're also ahead of the game on full self-driving, and they're trying to be the first company that brings out full self-driving, which will be absolutely huge. And they have much more to come, including more cars, more battery advancements, which we're hoping to hear about in April, and then solar energy, which is supposed to grow exponentially, and so much more. So should you buy Tesla stock right now? If you're looking for a quick gain, it might work if you bought now because it is down. It might go back up. It might shoot back up tomorrow. But overall, the short squeezing has subsided, so I expect it to settle down a little bit. And overall, I can't give you a strict yes or no. Tesla's stock has shot up, shot down, done all sorts of different stuff, but overall, the trend has been up recently. And it's up, and things are looking good for the company, which is a good combination there. I personally think that based on the way that tech companies grow and the fact that Tesla is more of a tech company making cars than an actual car maker, they're going to be the stock to have in the next decade, and I'm planning to hold on to them. Obviously, I could be totally wrong on this, and Ford ends up beating Tesla in electric car manufacturing, and they beat them to autonomy, and Tesla dies. But I really don't think this is the case, and neither do all of the Tesla bears that I mentioned. But let me know in the comments below. Are you buying? Are you selling? Do you wish you could buy or sell? What are you doing with Tesla's stock? As always, I hope this video was helpful, and I really appreciate you watching. Make sure to hit that like button and also the subscribe button to stay up to date on all the Tesla videos I'm bringing out, and I'll see you on the next one.